we are dressing his bride. Listen, he dresses us in what? Garments of salvation. So we could in turn dress our future home, our past and our future home. Isn't that beautiful? He dresses us so that we have the wisdom, the chokhmah, and the binah, and the da'at to go and dress. What wife doesn't prepare her home? What bride doesn't go and prepare her residence? Hello? Does any woman move into a house without first preparing it for her as her residence? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. But you know why a lot of believers are not fulfilling the eternal mitzvah of Orlah? You know why? Because they're waiting for the rapture. To them, Israel is the home of the cursed Jews who are the old Israel, and they're busy killing the Palestinians. And since we're going to be raptured, why settle the land of Israel? Right? For what? We're going to fly away. Plant trees in Israel. We're flying away. You see what happened? You see the doctrine of the rapture? We're flying away. We don't need to plant nothing. There's no need to plant anything. We're not going to be here. Why plant? Because we're not going to eat the produce. You see the difference between the Christian mindset and the Hebraic mindset? Do you see the difference? We plant even though we can't eat. That's for the first 3 years. You plant even though you can't eat. But you don't even get to eat till the 5th year. How many are enjoying this message?
Amen.
I said, how many are enjoying?
Amen.
We got to move past the basics of the faith and get into the heavier things of the faith. Resurrection, baptism, mikvah, repentance from dead works, faith in Yeshua's blood, faith in Yeshua's death, burial, and resurrection. These are all elementary things. The things that the church calls major doctrines, Hebrews chapter 6 calls them elementary school. How are we going to get into the eternal mitzvah of Orlah when they believe that they don't want to plant trees for the Jews? Because it's personal. Abraham, it's personal. The Jews got all the money anyway. They should be planting trees in my backyard. I'm not planting any trees for those Jews. They got all the money in. They can buy their own trees. That's stinking thinking. I said stinking thinking. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Abraham, please give me some more fat. Give me a number 3. Since we're talking about Aliyah. Let's go from 2 to 3. Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Amen.
Let's look at these scriptures again. Vayikra 19. When you shall come into the land, you shall have planted. No, highest. Higher. Off. On. Yeah? Okay. You shall have planted all manner of eitzim for food, and you shall count the fruit of it as unharvested. In other words, you shall plant for food, but you shall treat it as if it is unharvested. 3 years shall it be unharvested for you. Hello? 3 years it shall be unharvested for you. It shall not be eaten. But in the 4th year, verse 24, all the fruit shall be kadosh, set apart, for the Hallel of Yahweh. You get this? So who gets the first fruits? Yahweh gets the first. Can you eat the tree? Can you eat the fruit in the 4th year? Can you eat it in the first 3 years? Why? What's Yahweh teaching you? He comes first, and your brothers and sisters come second, and you ought not to be worrying about if tomatoes and cucumbers and leeks are growing in your backyard. What about Yahweh's backyard? Have you been dressing Eretz Be'ulah? Have you been dressing the land? Hello? We need to dress the land. And if we're not there to plant the trees, we ought to be planting the trees so the land can begin to flow with milk and honey and not with desolation. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Now look at verse 25. And in the 5th year, In the 5th year, you shall eat the fruit of it, that it may yield to you the increase. Meaning, if you're not going to do it Yahweh's way, you're not going to have a lot of increase. I am Yahweh. So how does this happen? We sow in what? Talk to me. We sow in faith. We sow in emunah. We then bring the first fruits to, or the bikurim, to Abba, Yahweh, and then we eat. Yahweh figures by the time the 5th year rolls around, you will either want to eat your own fruit, or you'll be in the land, or you won't mind others eating the fruit, because you've sown the kingdom. And those who are willing to be in the land, even when you and I are still in the Galut, at least you'll be blessing them. Why? Yahshua said, our Moshiach, it is more blessed to give than to receive. This is an eternal hoop. This hoop has never been nailed to the cross, just like no other hoop or mitzvah has ever been nailed to the tree. Amen, somebody.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Amen.
Amen.
So the 4th year, the produce, the fruit, is kadosh leYahweh. Kadosh leYahweh. The principle of putting Yahweh first, even when it comes to developing the land. Sometimes people invest in transient matters, life, clothes, music, temporal things. But the Torah guides us to invest in planting trees, listen, in order to root ourselves in the land through permanent means, okay? Say, take our brother here. He's already made Aliyah. He's already in the land of Israel. When he plants and he knows he cannot eat of the fruit of the tree for 5 years, you know what he's saying? I'm not going anywhere. I'm committed to be married to the land, just like Yahweh is committed to being married to the land. He's not saying, I want to check this out and then go back to the United States if it doesn't work out. You understand? When you know you can't eat from the fruit of your labor for 5 years, you're going to stick around. You're going to tend to stick around. That's the whole point. You reap, you sow in faith, you sow in faithful tears, which you reap with joy. Do you understand? Make sense?
Amen.
You sow in tears, but in emunah, and you reap with joy and with milk and honey, a land that flows with milk and honey. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The land will bear fruit, others will eat, the mitzvah is performed. Now think about it. If you and I don't fulfill this mitzvah, listen, then other mitzvahs that are dependent upon this cannot be fulfilled. For instance, terumah. What is terumah? What is terumah? Don't tell me you don't know, especially if you've been here for a while. Those of you who have been with me for a while. What is terumah? A what? What kind of an offering?
Free will.
Without fruit, we cannot perform terumah, free will offering. Without fruit from the trees, we cannot perform masarot, maaseh. What is maaseh leYahweh? 10%, tithe. There's nothing to tithe. Israel is supposed to be an agricultural society, even in an industrial age. I'll say that again. Israelites are supposed to be agriculturalists, even in an industrial age. Yahweh never asked for your skyscrapers or your elevators. He asked for your fruit. Symbolic of the spiritual fruit that we are called to give him. Peace, joy, long-suffering, meekness, temperance, humility. Against such, the Torah does not speak. The Torah never speaks bad about the fruits of the Ruach HaKodesh. Hello? Am I speaking to anybody this morning? This afternoon? Huh? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Amen. So these other mitzvot are dependent upon the eternal Torah of Orlah. When one assists the land of Israel economically, they're considered by Yahweh a partner in dressing his bride, Be'ulah and its Be'ulah, so that Israel is physically holy, the land, and also the spiritual attributes of those who live on the land, so it becomes a big, huge building program. Amen. The greatness of Eretz Yisrael, or the land of Israel, is, now listen to this. This is what our sages, this will blow you away. How many want to get blown away? And isn't it unbelievable how our rabbi comes to us today from the land of Israel. And then we had a word about sowing and reaping. You see how Yahweh orchestrated this whole service? That's why you don't walk in at 2 o'clock. That's why you don't walk in at 3 o'clock. You come on time. I don't care what your excuse is. And I don't care if I offend you. I'm not interested. I've offended enough people in my lifetime to move on to another life myself. You need to be here on time, because Yahweh may have something for you at 1 o'clock and you missed it. Ouch! If you can't say oh man, say oh my. You've got to be here on time, because you never know what Yahweh's going to sow into your life. Amen. The greatness of Eretz Yisrael is evident that according to this will blow you away. Ready? According to our sages, it is a sin, a chet, sin, to speak Lashon Hara. What is Lashon Hara? Evil speaking, bad speaking, evil tongue, evil thoughts, verbalizing evil thoughts against the land of Israel. We think of Lashon Hara, oh, Tehillah did this to me. I no like it, no like. I don't like it, the idea, no like it, porque no like. She didn't look at me, she didn't look at me, she could have looked at me, she should have looked at me, she looked at me with the eyes, without the eyes, cross-eyed, double-eyed. No like, I don't like. So we think of Lashon Hara as negative speech and attitudes to other people. But there's another realm of Lashon Hara, did you know that? An Israelite speaks Lashon Hara when he speaks against his future in the land of Israel. Do you know the rabbis forbid the Jewish people from even mentioning the land of Israel in a negative way?
Amen.
Well, I don't like my apartment. There's no parking. Yahweh said, you're speaking Lashon Hara against my bride. Eretz Be'olah. Eretz Be'olah, the married land. How can you speak against it and dress it? You can't, out of the same fountain, come forth, proceed forth, bitter water and sweet water. It's impossible. So when we speak, I don't want to make Aliyah, that's just for those Jews, and I don't want to, life is hard, and I'd rather deal with my landlord than with the Arabs. Oh, what are you smiling at, bro? I'd rather deal with my boss than a whole bunch of Palestinians and give all this dirty laundry list of why you can't make Aliyah, why if you can't, your children can't, or your grandchildren, or somebody at some point to break the exile and the galut and to return. You are speaking Lashon Hara against the land of your forefathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Do you understand? If we fulfill the eternal commandment of Orlah, we will take a desolate land and have it flow with milk and honey for future generations. You cannot claim to be Israelite and use Lashon Hara against the land of your forefathers and the land for future generations. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is not about supporting the Jews. It's part of it. If you can't plant your own trees, let the Jews in Israel today plant the trees for you. Let somebody plant the trees. Well, I'm just too busy working my little backyard. Nobody says stop working your backyard. Work your backyard and work Yahweh's garden. Yahweh said that in the Olam Haba, the land of Israel will be like, or will become Gan Eden. Gan Eden! The Garden of Eden. If the Garden of Eden is going to be restored in Israel, and you plant and you fulfill the eternal mitzvah of Orlah now, aren't you furbishing and dressing the garden? Where do you think the New Jerusalem is going to be? You think it's going to be in Kim Jong-il's backyard? Well, brother, I don't much care because I'm going up in the rapture. Well, wave goodbye to me when you go, honey. Because you won't see me and I won't see you. There is no rapture. That's the first part of the resurrection of the dead.
Amen.
Those who are dead in Yeshua rise, they get their immortal bodies in the air, then we are changed, are alive, we are changed, and together, part A and part B equals the resurrection of the righteous.
Amen.
Well, brother, that's not what 1 Thessalonians says. 1 Thessalonians 4 says we're going to be caught up in the air, right on, in the air, not to heaven. You put the word heaven in, and your ex-pastor put it in. The Greek word is idol, and the Aramaic word is shamaya, which is the Hebrew word shamayim, which means the air right above the earth, not heaven. Not where Yahweh lives. And the reason he's going to catch you up out of the grave is you expect him to give you an incorruptible body while you lie in a box of corruption. He's got to lift you off the corrupt earth and clothe you with incorruption. That doesn't mean you're going to be raptured. If you learn the rapture, now's a good time to start unlearning it. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So the land of Israel is going to be our Garden Eden, God Eden, the New Yerushalayim. So we cannot even speak evil about our land, Be'ulah, and it's Be'ulah. Listen, want me to prove it to you from Scripture? Want me to prove to you that speaking Lashon Hara, you put yourself in danger of not entering our future home? You want me to prove it to you? Good. Without going there for the sake of time, without going there. Was it not our forefathers in the wilderness who sent forth how many spies into the land? How many spies were sent into the land? No. How many? 12 spies. One from each shevet, one from each tribe. How many came back with a Tov report that had a different spirit upon them and in them? Yehoshua and Caleb. Yehoshua from the tribe of Ephraim, and Caleb from the tribe of Yehudah. There were your two witnesses, Judah and Ephraim, giving a Tov report about the land.
The two houses.
Baruch Hashem Yah. But the other 10 tribes made the entire nation speak Lashon Hara against the land. Ooh, the land can't feed us. Well, and not only the land can't feed us and provide for us, the land swallows up its inhabitants. It destroys all its dwellers. It will destroy us. We can't enter the land of Israel because we won't be able to find a job. We won't be able to survive. We won't be able to feed our kids. So in other words, they spoke Lashon Hara, not just against Yahweh, but against the land. And Yahweh said, fine, die in the wilderness.
Tell it.
And if we don't learn to stop speaking bad about those who have gone before us and about planting in the land, we also could die in the exile instead of inheriting in the land that will be the New Jerusalem.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? So we are forbidden, because an entire nation perished, an entire generation in the Midbar because of Lashon Hara against the land. They weren't just complaining against Yahweh and Moshe, they were saying the land eats its inheritance, we cannot provide, and what? But those two spies brought back the grapes, the fruit, right? Huh? Eshko, the fruit of the land. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So, start sowing in the land. Start sowing in the land. Trees. This seems ridiculous. Why do we need a message about trees? Brother, I want you to know. I specialize in the blood. The blood. Yeah. Now can we move on? When do you do Mitzvah, baptism? Well, I don't know. I'm waiting for you to develop a love for the land. Then I'll start doing Mitzvah again. You see what I'm saying? It's a love for our home. That's our house. And if you're not there, that's Judah's house. They're waiting. They're holding down the fort. They're preparing the land for us. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I said Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So the generations that follow the spies, because of the sins of our ancestors, are obligated to rectify their sin and praise the land of Israel, our future home, the New Yerushalayim, and to thank Yahweh for giving us the land as his precious gift by practicing some form of Orlah. You know how you can practice Orlah? You know it's a very easy way to practice Orlah? You call the Jewish National Fund and say, hey, I want to plant 50 trees in Israel. How do I go about it? Pick up the phone, the United Jewish Appeal. Say, you know, I want to have the Torah. My rabbi spoke about the Torah mitzvah of Orlah, and I want to fulfill the mitzvah of Orlah. How many trees can I get for $50? You'd be surprised how many trees you can get for $50. Probably get more trees than you get White Castle hamburgers. Or down here at Crystal. And I don't even know if they're kosher to begin with. They're certainly not rabbinically kosher. And planting trees won't send you to the toilet. Like Crystal hamburgers won't. So I won't even go there. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Every time we plant a tree, listen. No, this is better. This is better. How many are enjoying?
Amen.
See, you won't never hear this message in an NTOC congregation, right? Because this stuff's been nailed to the cross, right? They're not going to teach something they don't believe in, right? Well, that's just for the Jews. Sure, because they don't see themselves as Israel. But if they see themselves as Israel, they want to fulfill this mitzvah by making a statement. We may or may not return, but I want my children one day to go home. It's amazing how Yahweh put this whole message together and sent the confirmation here. Go with me to Yochanan Moshe. Yochanan Moshe 14. Yochanan Moshe Marcus. Yochanan Moshe 14. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I said Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh, amen.
Beltran, you enjoying?
All right.
All right, brother. We're all the way back there as well. That's what I make sure. Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Well, what happens if my children don't believe they're Israel yet? So sow in faith that they will, by planting trees, that they will one day eat from 4 years from now, 5 years from now. Sow in faith. Yochanan Moshe 14, verse 1. After 2 days was the Moed of Pesach, and of the Chag Matzot, unleavened bread. And the head Kohanim and the Sophrim sought how they might seize Yahshua him by trickery to put him to death. But they said, not on the Moed day, lest there be an uproar of the people. Verse 3. In being in Bet Anya. Some of you have heard me talk about this before. I want to circle those words. Verse 3, Mark 14:3. Being in Bet Anya. If your Bible says Bethany, you need a new Bible. The Hebrew word is Bet Anya, or the house of Anya. If you have a King James Bible, please allow me to help you out of your malady by selling you a copy of the Restoration Scriptures True Name Edition. Restoration Scriptures True Name Edition. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Let me get my message here, which is Ruach blown. Ruach